Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Time HQ. I am your host, Fernando, and joining me today is my great co-host, Keith. How are you doing today, Keith?
I'm good, Fernando. How's things?
It's going, it's already, week 12 now. We're going into the season. Your Seahawks can't find anything correct. My Patriots are finding everything correct.
Oh, man. Maybe your prediction of going to the Super Bowl is going to hold up now, but I'll wait and see.
Oh, that changed from 1 week. Last week, you were not on that train.
No, I'm only kind of half on that train too, but I do think you're definitely playing some good football.
So you think they actually do have a chance now to go to the Super Bowl?
At the moment, I give them as good as chance as any, to be honest. Which I know I said last week and stuff, but I still the Bills are still going to have a shout in this.
For sure.
And if I'm right, I think you still have to play the Bills twice, so they're going to be big games to see how the division pans out.
Yeah, unfortunately, our next matchups are not going to be easy. We go on to face Tennessee next week. Then we go on to face the Bills. Then we have our bye week, and then we face the Indianapolis Colts, who have been red hot.
Yeah, Tennessee, you wouldn't know what you expect off them after
they just lost to the Texans. How could you do that?
I know. And you would imagine the Patriots defense would be all up in their face. So that I would think a Patriots win there.
I think it'll be a lot closer, and it won't be as big of a blowout as people might be thinking since they lost to the Texans.
Oh yeah, I don't think it'll be a blowout in either way there, but I think the Patriots can get the win.
Yeah, and some quick news before we dive right into this. Philip Lindsay, he got cut from the Texans. Can you believe that?
It was a guy we were saying should be the lead back in the summer.
Yeah, you know why? It's because they didn't give him a chance. I think that's the problem. They didn't give him a chance, and because they didn't give him a chance, now you got David Johnson and Rex Burkhead, the lead backs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he lands because he is a good running back. If he be interesting, he might land with a playoff contender.
I was thinking maybe Los Angeles as a good backup. Sony Michel's not really that much big thing. I mean, actually Seattle.
He could land with us, but I don't, he's not going anywhere with us. We should just Seattle need to blow it all up and start again. I think it's the last we've seen of Russ, anyways. And
No, it's just because of his. I think it's just because of his injury. Just because of his injury.
Yeah, I do, but I don't think it's. Nothing's really working. Like the offense that has been good, it's still not really clicking. Like the run game sucks. Russ has been bad. It's just bad over there at the moment. So we'll say no more about my poor Seahawks.
Yeah, and CeeDee Lamb is projected to actually be available this Thursday in the Thanksgiving Bowl, you could say, since they're always in facing Thanksgiving.
Yeah. That changed, has it? It sounded like he was going to be out. Has it changed?
Yeah, it changed. There was reports earlier today by Jerry's son. Lamb has an opportunity to play versus Las Vegas.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, they thought he was going to be. Both of them were going to be out. Cooper and
Cooper is still going to be out because I believe he's not vaccinated, so he has to stay away.
Yeah, and then someone who was a former Cowboys coach went to New York, and now he's not even with a job. He's out. That's Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett's no longer the offensive coordinator. Obviously, things need to change in New York. Things have never been going good in New York, so it's nothing new.
Yeah, them play calls were terrible. Yeah, I don't know. Daniel Jones doesn't look good still. It's just a mess there, I suppose, on offense. It's not been a great season between injuries to all the receivers, and okay, they come back now, and a tough matchup against the Bucs, I suppose. But I don't know what kind of plays they were trying to call last night, because it was just all bad.
It was terrible. I mean, I thought at first they were going to have a chance against Tampa Bay, and then they just kind of blew it.
Yeah. And the Giants' defense kind of hangs in for a while in most games. It's not the worst defense, but when they can't get anything going on offense, they just get tired, and then the other team just pile on the points then.
No, because you know what? They almost beat the Chiefs, too.
Yeah, they lost by a kick, I think, wasn't it?
I think, that or 4 points or something. Mm-hmm. Something like that. But anyways, we're going to get right into it. Make sure to visit our website and get 10% off on orders 35 plus using code FALL2020 or FALL21, excuse me. Well, let's get into the waiver wire quarterbacks. And Keith, I'm going to start with my guy that I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, and that's been Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins he's a QB 8 right now. So now we're no longer talking 10-team leagues. We're talking 8-team leagues. We're even shrinking it down even more. He's a QB 8. He needs to be on everyone's team or anyone's team. Every league should have him, but he's only 63% owned. And he scored 25.24 points last week against Green Bay, which I think I mentioned last week about Kirk Cousins, since he was also one of my QBs. I mentioned that he's going to still blow up against Green Bay, and Russell Wilson is just him being injured, so you can't really go by his stats. But he's averaging 20.2 points a game. He's facing San Francisco this week, and then Detroit next week. And then, not to mention, week 17, if your championship is week 17, guess what? You face Green Bay. And Kirk Cousins just put up 25 points. So I would not be shocked if he is your starting quarterback in the championship this year.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not over 70% owned, because I think most teams should, or most leagues should have him rostered at this stage. I think he's proved it. It's probably going on. You're expecting the really bad weeks from Kirk Cousins, and there hasn't been too many of them.
Nope.
He's been good for fantasy, and I think, like we've said previously, the defense isn't that great, so he's always in shootouts, which is great for fantasy. So yeah, he's definitely a good pickup. Not
to mention that he did beat Green Bay.
They actually won by a kick for a change instead of losing by a kick, which they loved up until then.
Well, Green Bay messed up, because what Green Bay should have done when that deep ball was passed, I think it was MVS that caught it, or someone like that. They should have dropped within like the top 10, like 10-yard line, or maybe even the 1-yard line. Run that clock out. Punch it in with AJ Dillon. You got the big muscle back.
Yeah. It was just a strange weekend across the NFL with some
Bills.
A lot of crazy results. And I think that was probably maybe not as crazy as some of them, but it's definitely the underdog won.
Hey, Bills. Imagine that.
Oh man, Bills.
It was more Jonathan Taylor versus the Bills.
Yeah, exactly. It was Jonathan Taylor against the Bills.
5 touchdowns.
It was just crazy. It's like,
basically.
Yeah, Carson Wentz just had to get them so far up the field, and then it was just like, right, Jonathan Taylor, do your thing.
Literally. And I'm so salty. He scored 56 points for me in one league. Still lost. Still lost.
That is
The
bad.
other guy had Austin Eckler, so it was kind of evened out almost. I had no quarterback. I had Tim Boyle starting.
Where's your quarterbacks if you've got Tim Boyle starting?
I literally have Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Mike White, who isn't starting since, Mr. Joe Flacco had to come in. That's my quarterback. Oh, Mac Jones. But he's not a good fantasy quarterback.
No, he's better
than he is. Yeah, he has his weeks. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you know what? Anyways, let's go with one of your guys. Who are we looking at? Double T?
Double T. So Tyrod Taylor, like most probably unluckiest quarterback or unluckiest guy in recent years. He had that good stint with the Bills, made the playoffs, and they got rid. He's with the Chargers, and the doctor's side said, "Oh, let's puncture his lung," and then Justin Herbert takes over, and that's it for him there. But came back in this Houston offense, and yeah, he doesn't do a lot throwing, but it's what he does with his legs, and he got 2 touchdowns last week, 19 fantasy points. So, he gets the Jets this week. It's another opportunity there for another high-scoring week for Tyrod Taylor. So I think he's a good stream option for anybody in your 1 QB leagues. And if you've got him in Superflex, you're definitely going to start him.
Yeah, he's a big guy that can run the ball. Like, he is a scrambling quarterback, and that's big in fantasy. And I mean, if you look at the 4 weeks he's actually played, week 1, he played 23 points. Week 2, he played 16 points. And I think that's when he got injured, and then that led him to be out. But then when he came back against Miami, yeah, he threw 3 interceptions, but that was just a garbage game. That was terrible. But quarterbacks are not going to be perfect. You're going to have quarterbacks that score single digits. And then all of a sudden against Tennessee last week, he didn't even score any passing touchdowns. No. It was the run game, like you said, and that's what made him score 19 points. Yeah. So I like that pick as a streaming option for sure.
Yeah, he just bet the Titans. You know what I mean? Messy game, but it suited him, especially with the run style. So I would expect them to go and get another win against the Jets and him to be, very much involved.
Yeah, he should boom. Like, he should literally boom. He should get over 20 points, if not 22 points.
Yep.
But anyways, I'll go my next quarterback, and it's a guy that I don't really like to mention, and it's not Carson Wentz, that's for sure, because this man can't do anything ever since I mentioned him. Cam Newton. I would not be surprised. I would be surprised if you told me that I would be saying Cam Newton is one of my waiver wire pickups going into week 12. I would not believe you.
No. He looked really good, though.
He did. 40.9% owned. It was his first official start of the season. He had 189 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He also rushed 10 times, which that is the reason why he gets so much attention. He ran for 46 yards and a touchdown. The man scored 26 points, just over 26 points. And it's his second straight week with a rushing touchdown. Obviously, second straight week with one or more passing touchdowns. They're facing Miami this week. They go into a bye next week. And then they face Atlanta. So those 2 weeks, he should be absolutely blowing those teams. He should blow them out of the water. He should be scoring over 20 points both those weeks. But, I feel like this is some good numbers to put up because you're now trying to get the playoff push. This is the last final playoff push that you're going to be able to get. Yep. Whether you either know that you're in or you know that you're out or you know you're in the middle and you have to win. There's no I don't know, I could win. Exactly where you are right now.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Once playoff starts, Cam Newton, I do not think is a viable option. Week 15, Buffalo. Week 16, Tampa Bay. Week 17, championship week, New Orleans. You might get something out of that. But if you go to week 18 with Tampa Bay, and championship week 18, you're facing Tampa Bay again. So he's not a viable quarterback for me in the championship. But for a playoff push, he's a viable quarterback for sure.
Yeah, he can definitely get you there. He can get you to the playoffs, and then you probably need a pivot option, or you're probably streaming. But look, I love Cam. I'm glad he's back, and who would have said he came back with a bang? I was expecting him to come and play well. He has a point to prove back there in Carolina. He wants to get that job.
He got the job.
I think
Sam's gone.
Yeah, I think Sam's gone too. I think Cam's
he started seeing ghosts. Yeah,
but like he did with the Jets.
Yeah.
But Yeah, Cam's the guy there now. And for fantasy, I think he's going to be great again this week. It's a great matchup against Miami. They haven't upgraded at all, either side of the ball, really. It's always been a struggle when they win, and their defense hasn't been great. So I think it's going to be another good game. Hopefully another high-scoring game for Cam. So I think he's a great streaming option. You can definitely start him in your lineup this week.
Yeah, I mean, he will become, if he scores again like another 26 points next week, he's going to be almost very up to the top, like 60-70% owned.
Oh yeah, I think even waivers probably for most people are going to go through tomorrow, so I think a lot of people are going to be going around getting him, and you'll probably see that percentage push right up.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to be owned. I'm not owning him because I have quarterbacks, Josh Allen. I draft good quarterbacks. That's one of the biggest things that I go for is quarterbacks because they're most important. At least a top 5. Well, after that, you don't even know, especially in tight ends too. But anyways, let's tailor up your second guy. Who's the second guy?
Taylor Heineke. So we've said this guy's name many times on this pod. And he wasn't looking great going into the bye week, but coming out of that bye week with 2 wins, it's like he just needed the rest and get back going again because he's been great. 23 points last week, throw for over 200 passing yards, 3 touchdowns.
Oh.
Gets my Seattle this week, who are just there for the taking at the moment. I think it could be another good week for Taylor Heineke.
Here's the question. Taylor Heineke faces Seattle this week. He goes in to face Las Vegas next week. Does he win both those games? And does Washington get an almost like playoff push that they need?
Yep. They definitely can win both of them. I think they definitely beat the Raiders. And see, I think they will beat Seattle just because we're so down and so bad at the moment. But the only thing is we just like being away from home. We are away in this game. For some reason, we don't like playing at home anymore. It's not the fortress it was. So don't be surprised if Russ starts to click again with Metcalf and Lockett and all that, we could easily win, but I'm just not expecting it. I think Washington will get the win.
I mean, they did just beat Tampa Bay too. But here's my thought process because they currently sit 4th in division, 4-6. You get the Eagles who are 5-6, and then you got the Cowboys who are 7-3. 7-3 Cowboys are struggling right now. Eagles are kind of red hot with Jalen Hurts, who's shockingly the number 1 quarterback in fantasy. And you have Washington. So Washington wins Seattle. They beat Las Vegas because I'm currently not intrigued with Las Vegas. They're not doing too good.
Nah, they're gone.
Then you got all division next. Dallas, Philly, New York. They could easily take that division.
If they can go on a run, I think Dallas will still have a show. I don't like the Eagles to win that division. I know they have a better record at the moment, but I think Washington have a better chance. They need to go on a run, and they obviously have to win the big games in that division. But they're still in with a good chance. Yeah,
I mean, you have to between week 14 and week 17, you have to beat both times Dallas and Philly, and if they do that, they should be able to win the division.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, that's going to do it for our quarterbacks. You got Kirk Cousins, Cam Newton as my quarterbacks, Tyrod Taylor and Taylor Heineke as Keith's quarterbacks. And we're going to go on to our running backs here. So, running backs, there's not that many good ones left.
No, it was kind of slim pickings, I thought, on the, when I was going through and doing some research on it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest guys I'd say currently that is probably going to start being owned is Devonta Freeman. You mentioned him last week. He's the RB39, which doesn't really mean much since he hasn't really played that much this season. But the last 3 weeks, 16.3, 8.8, 20 points. This man had 16 attempts, 49 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. He also caught all of his 6 targets for 31 yards. That's what made him score 20 points. And Freeman looks like he is on top of the depth chart, and he is going to be the starter moving forward for sure. And obviously, J.K. Dobbins will be back next year. He's going to take over that role. Devonta Freeman probably won't be in Baltimore anymore, but he's the guy to own there. And if you really are in desperate need of a running back, Devonta Freeman needs to be on. He's only 33.8% owned, so it's not like everyone has him.
Yeah, no, I like I said it last week. I agree with that. He's definitely top of the depth chart there. Latavius Murray came back, but so you will have probably a hand in a. I don't think it'll be a split. I still think it'll be Devonta Freeman and Latavius Murray thrown in a little bit. But yeah, like you said, if you're desperate, I don't even know if you're desperate. I suppose if you've got injuries or these last few bye weeks are going to kill you a little bit. He's a great plug and play. You're probably guaranteed. You're not going to be guaranteed 20 points every week, but you're probably guaranteed between 12 and 15.
Yeah, I was going to say 10. I was giving him you gave him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
I give him easily 10 points average a game. At the very least, that's his floor. His ceiling is definitely by far 20, 25.
Yeah.
But I don't see him going anywhere above 25.
Yeah, and we're expecting, Lamar to be back now. Most of the run game is gone.
He needs to be back. He needs to be back.
For your fantasy team.
If I need a playoff push, he needs to be back. So yeah, I mentioned Devonta Freeman. He's my first guy, and let's tie it up with your guy. Who's your first guy?
So I'm kind of have two here, both playing the same team. So Ty Johnson or Tevin Coleman, depending on what way you want to look at this. So Carter's gone down, out for a couple of weeks. Now, the one, if I was going to pick out of the two, was Ty Johnson for upside. But I know, some people might want a floor play, and probably that is going to go with Tevin Coleman. He's probably going to, the solid maybe 8 points, 8 maybe, but Ty Johnson's going to, I think he has the upside. He's probably going to get the catches. So PPR leagues, he's more valuable. So if I was, wanting to pick up one of these guys, I would go with Ty Johnson, but I just threw Tevin Coleman in there as well, because you may just want a guy who's just a safe floor. It's not how I play. I want the high upside. But if that's how you play, Tevin Coleman's probably got the safer floor with Ty Johnson, the higher upside. But they're playing Houston, who, okay, they had a good win against the Titans, but they're not some brilliant invincible team. They've struggled for most of the season. So, I'm expecting the Texans to win, but I think the Jets could definitely give it a good go.
I totally agree with you. And in PPR leagues, Ty Johnson is the guy. Ty Johnson is the receiving back there. I mean, if you look at his stats, his stats blow Tevin Coleman out of the water. Ty Johnson this whole season has averaged 8.3 points, and that's not bad for a backup running back who most people don't even own. He's only 18.8% owned. So obviously the last 2 weeks he scored a combined of 10.11 points. 11.1 points. But his New England game, his Cincinnati game, and his Indianapolis game, 13, 19, 12, and even before the bye week, he had 11 points against Atlanta. Yep. So he can easily score double digits. It's been done. And with him being put in the starting role, even if Tevin Coleman's there, he's going to be getting the points. So he should be scoring, I'd say at the very least, 7 points. But at the very most, you're looking at 20 points for him. 19 maybe.
Yeah, well, if we expect him to get all the receptions out of the backfield, which he should, it just depends how they split it. Because I know Tevin came in more when Carter went down last week. Ty Johnson didn't see a lot, but I think it will be roles reversed. I think Ty Johnson will be the guy, and he's definitely the upside play.
Yeah, and Tevin Coleman is not a receiving back.
No, and he's not very good, really, anyway.
No, he's not. They need to get Le'Veon Bell back.
Yeah.
See what he can do. But anyways, so you picked those two guys. And then for my final guy, I actually did this before even news came out. And it was because Lindsey he wasn't even a factor. He only had one attempt last week. Obviously now you're seeing why is because he got cut. But Rex Burkhead is a good streaming option, I would say, for running backs who are in desperate need, teams who are in desperate need of a running back. Rex Burkhead is probably owned in every one of your leagues. He's 0.6% owned. He looks like he's the lead guy. They finally took a lead guy. They finally took a running back and said, "Hey, you're actually going to be running the game," because I don't think many of the running backs there all year had over 10 attempts in any games. So 18 attempts, 40 yards. That was all he did. He only scored 4 points. Obviously not the best, but it looks like that Houston finally narrowed down their running backs. Lindsey's gone. Johnson had 4 receptions. 4 targets, 3 receptions, 16 yards, 13 attempts, 18 yards. But Burkhead looks like he's the guy, and the player to track. He's the player to track. He's facing the Jets this week, but it looks like that Houston is kind of pinpointing this, and it looks like Burkhead is going to overtake Johnson if he hasn't already, which it looks like he has. Burkhead's the guy.
Yeah, it only took them 11 weeks to figure out the running backs.
Didn't even play any running backs like that at all this year. It was so depressing. I was like, all right, Lindsey's the guy, guys. Lindsey's going to be the guy. No, they don't even give anyone a chance there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think Burkhead's probably a desperation play just because.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, you could probably get him in this game, against the Jets. You're probably thinking they're going to be up in the game so they can run the ball more. But outside of this game, going forward, I don't really think he's much of an option. Definitely desperation play. I do agree that I think he's the lead guy there now. Lindsey obviously gone today. Johnson's there. He probably had the potential to be the lead guy, and it's not worked out. So yeah, it's probably Burkhead, but again, he's nothing more than a desperation play for me.
Yeah, I mean, if you really are in desperate need, I mean, for me, I think I started Lindsey this week in one league. I mean, it's a league that I'm rebuilding anyways, and I have no running backs because you got Derrick Henry, who's obviously injured, so I'm in desperate need of a running back. And of course, this is I think the 1 week I benched Ronald Jones. So and he's
I did
scored
that
like
too.
8 points, 9 points.
Yeah, he hadn't shown anything though, Ronald Jones.
No, but you know what? He's the lead back next year.
You think?
I think I know so. I've been saying this since last year that Leonard Fournette's contract has not been extended. His contract ends this year. I don't think they're going to pay him.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how it plays out. I don't think Arians is convinced by Ronald Jones, though. That's the only thing.
Well, they don't have to be convinced right now.
Wait till the end of the season.
Yeah, wait until the end of the season. Wait until training camp and spring training and all that, I'm going to lead into baseball a little bit. But anyways, that's going to be it for our running backs. You got Devonta Freeman, Rex Burkhead for me, and then Ty Johnson and Tevin Coleman, both Jets running backs who probably is going to be Ty Johnson leading there for running backs. So anyways, let's go on to our wide receivers. And Keith, we're going to start with you. Let's see him. Is it Justin Jefferson?
Nope. So Van Jefferson is my guy. And what I noticed when I was doing some research is that a lot of people just dropped him because it's, they had their bye week. And I'm thinking, this guy needs to be owned. People are probably thinking, OBJ is there and all that. Yeah, but he still needs to, get into this offense. In a couple of weeks, has he really learned this offense? Who knows? We'll find out this week. But I think Van Jefferson already has that connection with Stafford, and I think he's definitely a really good flex play. You can plug and play, each week he gets solid 8, 10, 12. If he gets a touchdown, you're great. He sees the targets most weeks. So I just think he's a guy that needs to be owned, and especially when you're coming up to, fighting for playoffs, still a few bye weeks left. People scramble around on waiver wires looking for players. I think he's definitely one that you have to go and get.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. The fact that he was under 70% owned still shocks me because Van Jefferson, he's the third guy over there. And second guy, right? Second guy now,
yeah. Depending on what happens with OBJ.
Yeah, because OBJ, who knows? He might be requesting to be released tomorrow. I don't even know.
You never know that guy.
Yeah, but Van Jefferson is that guy that needs to be owned because you know what? He's known the playbook for at least a year now, and he's going to be the main factor there, especially if Cooper Kupp goes down. Van Jefferson is the number one guy, which I doubt Cooper Kupp goes down, but hey, you never know.
Yeah, if that happens, we'll be just blaming you. I don't have Cooper Kupp, so I'm fine, but I do have Van Jefferson, so I'm happy with that.
I don't have Cooper Kupp either. I have more Van Jefferson than Cooper Kupp shares. So
yeah.
I was always more of a Robert Woods fan versus a Cooper Kupp fan.
Me
obviously,
too.
This year doesn't look like that's the case. Obviously,
yeah.
But my other guy that I really love is Brandon Ayuk. Man's just under 70% owned, 67.5% owned. The last 4 weeks, 10.5, 18.7, 5.6 where he had a bad game, 21.5 last week. This is a season high in fantasy weekly scores. And he's facing Minnesota this week. Minnesota likes to airball it's just air yards back and forth against Minnesota. Just both games, both sides of the ball. Wow, I can't talk. But if you look at the playoff schedule for San Francisco for fantasy wise. Week 15, Atlanta. Week 16, Tennessee, which is where he struggled in. But I kind of don't see that happening again. I think he's going to turn that 5.6 points around and score where he normally is. Week 17, championship week, Houston, that is big. And if you really need week 18, it's Los Angeles Rams. But week 17 is usually when it's over. But, I mean, Houston, that championship week should be really good for Brandon Ayuk. But it looks like he's finally finding himself from the beginning of the season. He couldn't find himself in the beginning of the season. Like, we didn't even know who he was because, like, he just wasn't doing good. And he came off a really spectacular rookie season last year. Obviously, Debo was also a little injured there. But even Debo coming back, Brandon Ayuk was supposed to be very productive, and he was never really that productive. So finally, he's becoming this productive Brandon Ayuk that we are used to seeing, and he's going to be probably on your championship team.
Yeah, Ayuk's a guy that's probably going to win you a championship, I think, if he's on your team. He started off so slow. Everything was so bad. You know, he had Kyle Shanahan coming out saying he's not doing it in practice, and that's why he's not getting out there enough. But all of a sudden, you know, things are starting to click, and he's looked better each week. And, you know, he was probably picked up in your drafts fairly early, and then you dropped him later on, and now people are picking him up again. Like you said, he's just under 70% owned.
Yeah, 67.5.
Yeah, that's not going to happen now after this week. He's going to go, I think he's going to shoot up. But I think he's the guy that could win the championship for you because everything looked terrible at the start of the season. All of a sudden, things are starting to click now. Okay, he's not putting up, you know, massive numbers, but he has the potential to, and that could happen. And if it happens in you know, the playoffs, well, there you go. You just picked somebody up off the waivers that's probably going to win you the championship.
Don't get me wrong. Ayuk's great. Debo's really good this year, but I'd rather have Ayuk than Debo.
Going forward in Dynasty, yeah, it's probably a toss-up.
Yeah.
Like Debo has been great, and I love Debo, but he's just one injury away from, you know, season ending.
And you know what's crazy too is I was just going to mention he is kind of a buy now, even though he's doing really good. He's a buy now if you really need a playoff push, only because of his injury stats. Because me trying to trade Christian McCaffrey a couple weeks ago, I could not get Jamar Chase, but I could definitely have gotten Debo Samuel. But I just didn't want him because of injuries. But the fact that Debo was a lot more available than Jamar Chase in Dynasty anyways, it shows that Debo's really not as high valued as people think he is because his injuries.
Yeah, it's all about where you are now at the moment. If you think you can make that push, or if you're a contender, Debo's definitely a guy to go after. But yeah, if you're down the end, you know, just trying to see out the league, not going to be contending for anything and just making to the draft, yeah, he's definitely a guy I wouldn't be going after. If you have him, try and trade him away in that scenario to a contender and see what you can get from it. But I'd rather in that situation, yeah, I'd rather have Brandon Ayuk than for the future.
Yeah, 100%. I love Ayuk, so I think his value will continue to go up. Let's go with your guy. I won't double up just now. Let's go with your guy.
So it's a guy who brought up last week. So it's Traquan Smith for the Saints. He's seen an uptick in targets since he's been back. Had his highest targets this week. You know, he's a guy that has a solid floor in it's kind of a messy offense because you just don't know who's going to get the touchdowns each week. But it looks like slightly favors him most weeks. He's a really, really good flex player. I think if you plug him in and play him, you just kind of know you're going to get that 10 12 off him. Like he's been safe since he came back, and he has that potential that if he gets that touchdown, that, you know, he has that good week. So I just think he's a really safe play. Like I was saying earlier, like I like the boom plays. So if you're putting them in, you want to have the guys that are like the boom plays in there. So the Ty Johnson, you know, I know different position, but you know, you want to have someone else that will give you that high play. But it's like, you know, when we talk about Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, exactly.
A guy we really like, but he's not going to go sky high with the points, but you know what he's going to get every week. So that's what Traquan Smith is.
Yeah, I mean, he's averaging 9.7 points a game. And if you really take out his first week, he's averaging a good 10.5 points a game. So he's a good safe bet, just like Jacoby Myers kind of was. But it's just the problem with Jacoby is he can't get in the end zone. That's the problem. But I do like the pick. I like Trey a lot, and especially with Michael Thomas out.
Yeah.
Trace, I'm going to be honest. I don't even know if Michael Thomas is really going to be a thing next year.
I don't know. I think I'll tell you one thing. He's going to probably be a value in most people's drafts because he's just going to fall and see who takes a chance on him. That's what I think.
I think he'll probably be drafted maybe round 9 next year.
Yeah.
Between 7 and 9.
Yeah, it just depends what people think of him. Like if he comes back and he's anywhere near like himself, he's a steal there. You take him, 4 and 5. You're probably saying you're jumping for him there. Personally, I'd rather just let someone else take him and watch. If he comes back brilliant, maybe trade for him. But the other guys they've been doing okay, to be fair, without a star name, and with Kamara out too, so they haven't been doing too bad, especially for fantasy.
No, Trevor Simeon's been doing good, shockingly enough.
Yeah, he's having a bit of a rebirth there, isn't he, Simeon? I think everybody thought he was done. See how that plays out.
Not to mention, then you get Taysom Hill that gets an extension.
Yeah, and it's like a hybrid extension because it depends where he plays.
Exactly. So he can make, if he stays on his utility role, I think he makes $40 million until he's 35. And if he somehow becomes quarterback, he can make up to $90 million.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. They must really like the guy, or maybe he's friends with Sean Payton. I don't know.
I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but I guess they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go with my last guy, which I will also have to mention one last guy for wide receivers after this one. But my last guy is Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup is the reason why I'm picking him. He's 66.5% owned. Mari Cooper, it will be unavailable this week. And then CeeDee Lamb has an opportunity to play. We already mentioned in the beginning of the show. But he also left the game early last week with a concussion. So whether he is ready or not, he's still not going to be that full 100%, I don't think. And only because they're coming off a short week. I mean, Dallas literally just played, and now you got them playing again on Thursday. So it's possible that Gallup is going to be the wide receiver 1, and CeeDee Lamb might take more of a step back a little bit, just injury-wise. But 2 weeks since Michael Gallup has returned, 7.2 points, 5 targets, 3 receptions, 42 yards. And then last week, he had 10 targets, 5 receptions, 44 yards. And he scored 9.4 points. But if both of them are out, Gallup is the guy to own. Gallup is the guy that is a must start.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think he's probably going to be one of the top ads in most people's leagues. Since he's come back, though, he's been great, even with Cooper and CD out there. So, I don't know. CD is probably, I know you were saying he has a chance. It's going to go right down to the wire. But I'd make sure I'd be picking up Gallup because even if CD plays, who knows if he's even 100%. He'll slot in as the wide receiver too anyways. So he's going to be a great play. So, yeah,
for sure.
I really like Gallup as a talent. I don't think he'll be with the Cowboys next year. He'll probably move on. But he has he could be a wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 somewhere else.
Oh, 100%. You know what I'd like to see him go?
Patriots?
Yeah. I've been wanting him to actually go to the Patriots. I thought the Patriots could actually trade for him. Only because he's kind of like a sneaky guy, but he's not too valuable. So you can actually afford him. And he's just that guy that I think I would want.
Yeah. I don't think he demand like a massive contract either, which is good.
That's the thing.
So it would be interesting to see. So yeah, Patriots could be in with a show. Who knows?
Yeah, Jonas Smith hasn't been there yet, but who knows? Maybe he'll come back next year and break out. But that's going to do it for our wide receivers, at least the wide receivers we listed. But I will have one more to mention. Brandon Ayuk, Michael Gallup are my top 2. Van Jefferson, Traquan Smith is Keith's 2. But one guy that I want to mention that he's kind of been under the radar that no one really has talked about is Elijah Moore from the New York Jets. He is 40.9% owned. And if you really look at his stats, he has been scoring double digits since week 7 of the season. 10.2, 13.1, 27.4, 13.4, 29.6 points last week. This man had 11 targets, 8 receptions, 141 yards, plus 1 touchdown last week. So I think Elijah Moore is a must start for the rest of the season for anyone who hasn't owned him yet. And especially in Dynasty, I mean, he's a valuable wide receiver right now. He is the guy that is looking like the wide receiver 1 there. And it looks like the Jets are finally finding a wide receiver one. No longer Jameson Crowder. Denzel Mims is a bust. Elijah Moore is the real deal. And I'm going to be honest, I would love to trade for him in all my dynasty leagues because he just seems so valuable to the Jets right now.
Yeah, he was a guy that I wasn't really convinced on, but
No,
like you said, as the numbers have shown, he's definitely doing it over there.
I wasn't convinced, and when they drafted him, I wasn't convinced at all.
No, but yeah, like numbers tell. He's doing well over there, and like it's been a bit of a circus there in terms of who's at the quarterback position. He still seems to be putting up the numbers, whether it's White, Flacco, Wilson. Is it Flacco this week again? Probably. So yeah, I'd imagine like I'm just kind of like
it's the Jets. That's why.
That's my issue. It's the Jets. If it was any other team putting up the numbers, I'd be like, oh yeah, great, he's really good, definitely.
I'm honestly thinking.
I'm kind of thinking like if you can trade, just sell him high and see what you can get.
I'm trying to trade him. I'm actually thinking of trying to get him for a second round pick. I'm willing to give up a second for him.
See what people get. They might want more because he's definitely a sell high now.
Well, yeah, now he's a sell high, but I actually tried sending someone a third round pick before this week's game, and they, I think, are actually one of the inactive Dynasty League owners, which that is a pet peeve of mine. If you're a Dynasty owner, you either find a replacement to replace your team mid-season or whatever, or you just don't join a Dynasty League.
Yeah, just play and then get out at the end of the season.
Yeah, honestly.
See the year out.
At least set your lineups.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But yeah, Elijah Moore would have been a great pick. But anyways, let's move on to our tight ends. Do I want to go with mine first? No, you know what? Let's go with yours first.
Cool. I'll double up here. Suppose make it easier here. So first one's Austin Hooper.
Shooting those hoops.
Shooting them hoops. They play in Baltimore this week, who give up the third most fantasy points to the tight end position. So that's pretty good. The only problem is that they probably will have Njoku in there as well. So, you probably have to go rough with the smooth there. But I think Austin Hooper is the better play.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have much outside of that in terms of receivers. Schwartz is injured. Donovan Peoples-Jones hurt. So it's Jarvis Landry's out there, So I think Hooper could definitely get the targets this week against Baltimore. Like I said, give up the third most fantasy points at tight ends. Their defense hasn't been overly great this season. So if you need to stream one like I do, because Zach Ertz is out in one of my leagues, he's a good option.
Oof. I'm iffy on him, but you know what? His stats tell in the last 2 weeks, 12.5, 9.3. So if you're in desperate need of a tight end, then you got to go get him. Because tight ends are just, I don't even know. Should tight ends be a part of fantasy?
People say that. It depends what leagues you're in, because a lot of people like these tight end premium leagues where you get, more points for receptions from tight ends. I'm iffy on tight ends and kickers. Like, I don't like kickers at all. I'm just like, let's have an extra flex spot instead of a kicker. Mm-hmm. Tight ends, yeah, it depends. Like, I don't know, because then what do you do with the likes of Kelsey and the top guys if you were to eliminate tight ends completely? So you're kind of ruling that out.
That's true. I mean, I'm still for tight ends, and I'm actually for kickers because they just give like the weird stats. Like, I know there's this one league I'm in where it's a 53-man roster, and it's ridiculous. Like, kickers are really important. So like kickers, I think Justin Tucker scored me like 100 points, and just because of the amount of kicks he's done. So I don't know. It kind of depends. Like, you can make it fun with kickers and actually be worth it because of how much they score in certain leagues. Yeah,
it depends. They probably get more than someone in your flex on certain weeks, I suppose.
Exactly.
Depending on who your kicker is.
Yeah, 100%. All right, and then who's your next guy? Is it someone we've already mentioned?
Yeah, Dan Arnold, who put up a big fat donut last week for the first time, but I'm not expecting that this week because he's playing the Falcons. Up until last week, he had been very, very consistent every single week, and then I don't even think he got a single target. I don't know what Trevor Lawrence was doing last week. I don't know if you've seen it, but I was reading the few rumors that they're not happy about Lawrence and hasn't lived up to expectation.
Yes, I saw that.
Did you see that?
Oh my goodness. All right. What's the odds that Jacksonville gets the number 1 pick again or the number 2 pick and drafts another quarterback? and trades Trevor Lawrence away?
Depends. Depends what's coming out. I haven't done a whole pile of research, and I don't get time to watch a lot of college games. But what I've seen, there's not too much great quarterbacks that have the caliber.
I heard different. I heard that there could be 4 or 5 quarterbacks being drafted this first round pick this year.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, like I said, I haven't done a whole lot of research. So yeah, it sounds like it's possible, but I don't know whether they'll do that. I think they're better off see if they can build around them a bit, maybe help that offensive line, get them receivers. If it doesn't work out, then if we're having this type of conversation about Trevor Lawrence next year, then you're saying well, yeah, he's not worked out at all.
He just hasn't looked like the guy. But then again, I mean, I think Jacksonville, every single person in personnel needs to get fired. Why do you still have Urban Meyer as a coach? Why in the world do you still have Tom Coughlin as a GM? Why?
I don't know what's going on there.
Put me in as a coach. Put me in as a head coach, and I'll show you how to run a team, how to turn a team around. Y'all just gave up on Blake Bortles so damn quick. Then you gave up on Gardner Minshew so damn quick. And then now you got Trevor Lawrence. You're probably going to give up on him too, like we've already been seeing. Why don't you draft a quarterback or trade for a quarterback? I mean, trade for someone you got to get rid of Trevor Lawrence. If you get rid of Trevor Lawrence, you can get 2 first-round picks maybe, or a first and a second, or a third. Either way, you're getting capital, and that's what you need. Your defense is terrible. I am sorry, but this is my rant against my second favorite team.
They should give Seahawks Lawrence and take Russell and see what happens.
You would take Trevor?
No, I just wanted to see what happens. I wouldn't exactly be excited. I think Russell's great. Don't get me wrong. I just think it'd be interesting to see what happens.
This is the buy now for Russell since he's doing bad.
Yeah, true. But back to our picks.
Oh yeah, Dan Arnold.
Dan Arnold. I think he'll bounce back this week against Falcons, and he's a solid play.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Arnold, he's been scoring double digits. I mean, he's a guy that needs to be started. You got to start him. You can't not start him. So, especially because tight ends are just all over the place. You saw Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry was doing double digits every single week, and then boom, he didn't really score much. So
he's really touchdown dependent.
Yeah, if he doesn't get a touchdown, he's not fantasy relevant. I think he fell from top 4 or number 4 anyways to 7 or 8. I think he fell that far. Yeah. But anyways, since you doubled up, I'm gonna have to double up. And my first guy is Pat. I mean, this man, Pat, who the heck is he? Well, you know what? He's Pat Freiermuth. He's the second rookie tight end to be drafted this year, and he's currently showing really good improvements. And he's a tight end 14. One of Big Ben's favorite targets. I mean, he's averaging 9.3 points a game. He had 7 receptions. 7 targets, 4 receptions. He only had 11 yards, but you know what? He had a touchdown. So he scored 11.1 points, and he scored double digits in the last 4 out of the 5 weeks. And if it wasn't for the dang Detroit game, I mean, he could have easily scored double digits there because you minus that fumble, I think he would have scored 8 points plus the yardage that he could have gotten, receptions he could have gotten with them moving closer. I don't know. I think that the double digits, I think he could have scored 5 out of 5, but obviously he didn't. But they're facing Cincinnati this week where he scored 11.2 points the last time they faced.
Yeah, Pat Freiermuth, I love the guy. He's been great this season. Tight end. You could probably say for a tight end, this is kind of a breakout because they don't usually go crazy. They take them a few years to really get there. But he's been great. Loved him coming out of the draft. Said before, if Kyle Pitts wasn't there, we'd be all talking. We would have all been talking about Pat Freiermuth beforehand. So, yeah, great pick. I think he's a guy that has to be on. I think at this stage, he's nearly guarantee a good tight end points every week, and then if he gets the touchdown on top of that, you're really happy.
Yeah, he's 58.6% owned, so he's available in almost half the leagues. Mm-hmm. But my next guy is a guy that's top 10, almost top 5. He's on a bye this week, which obviously is not good, but he needs to be owned. Why is he not owned? He's tight end 6, and that's Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is the tight end 6. He is coming back. He only had that one bad season where he also had an injury. But other than that, he was top 5, top 10 almost every year. And then obviously you had Dallas Goedert, who kind of took away all the receptions and touchdowns and everything from him. So Zach Ertz needs to be owned. He's averaging 10.6 points. He's 59.8% owned. And he broke out this week. He had 28.8 points this week, 9 targets, 8 receptions, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. They're on a bye this week, which stinks. But you know what? He's currently the tight end 6, so he should be owned. Every single league, he's averaging about 5 or 6 targets a game. And I mean, he had 9 last week, so he's getting the targets that people want to see. And targets are important.
Yep. Like you said, he had the monster week this week. The move going to the Cards is great for him. You know, he's always not too long ago we were talking to him. You know, he was probably 4th, 5th best tight end in the league, and then kind of all went a bit pear-shaped there over in Philly. But he's got the move. You know, he's with a contender to win a Super Bowl. He looks great. You know, it looks like he's got the playbook down now. Had that good connection with Colt McCoy there the last few weeks, and looked like when he joined straight away that, you know, Kyler was thrown to him too. So coming off the bye week, he's going to be great. I'm surprised that he's not owned in nearly every league, because he's putting up them numbers now that, you know, if he keeps that up and with that high-powered offense, he could go back into that, you know, close enough to that elite tight end territory.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Zach Ertz could finish as top 3. It could be Kelsey. It could be Kelsey, Waller, Ertz.
Yeah, it depends if he comes back off the bye and he has, you know, he keeps up with the big weeks. Sure, why not?
Yeah, but that's gonna do it for our tight ends. I mean, Pat Freiermuth, Zach Ertz are both my guys, and then Austin Hooper and Dan Arnold are Keith's guys. But now, with the last 10 minutes remaining of our show, we're gonna go with our dynasty trades, or fantasy football trades, that we've gotten in the past week or two. And we're just going to be going back and forth and seeing who our picks are. So, Keith, I'll start with mine. This is in a dynasty league, and this straight up, which is something bizarre. Marquis Brown for Keenan Allen.
Oh, dynasty?
Yeah.
I like Keenan Allen. Marquis Brown, yeah, he's having a breakout year, but he's only done it this year, though.
But here's the thing. Marquis is young. Keenan Allen is kind of getting up there.
He is, but I go with I don't think Keenan Allen's you play fantasy for 2 to 3 years. So if you're getting Keenan Allen, is he going to retire in the next 2 to 3 years? I don't think so.
Yes.
Can he get hurt? Yes, but so can Marquis Brown. So can everyone. I like the more proven talent there, because we knew Marquis Brown had it, but we're only seeing it this year, and it's taken a long time. So I would go on the Keenan Allen side there. Yeah, just because, like I said, I play 2 to 3 years. I don't really look any, more into it if I'm looking to win. And I think Keenan Allen's still going to be fine for at least 2 years. So
I'm going Marquis Brown just because of him being young, and he's been breaking out this week. So if you need him this year, you got him this year. And then next year or years in the future, he could end up being that main guy and continue scoring. I mean, but anyways, so that's interesting. I didn't expect you to go with Keenan Allen there, but
yeah, I'm a Keenan Allen fan too. I really like Keenan Allen.
All right, so Mike Williams or Keenan Allen?
Keenan Allen, sure. Okay. Mike Williams too, up or down,
Okay, all right. Let's send your trade my way. Let's see it.
So this one was kind of done earlier in the season, but you could probably take it from either side. So it's Aaron Rodgers and Jalen Waddle for Daniel Jones and Leonard Fournette. So I know which side I want.
Ooh.
But it depends there. If you're thinking dynasty as well, Rodgers, how many years he got left? Daniel Jones.
So here's the thing. Is it Superflex?
No, it's just 1 QB.
Oh, 1 QB. Dynasty?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a 1 quarterback league, I'm going Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking, as much as I'm not a big fan of Jalen Waddle, I'd rather have Leonard Fournette over Jalen Waddle, but obviously dynasty Jalen Waddle's more important because Jalen Waddle's young, he's a rookie. And Leonard Fournette, I don't see him being the starter in Tampa Bay next year, so that's also leading me why I would pick Aaron Rodgers and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, in 1 quarterback league, you only need Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
so,
you're just not really going too on to the future there. Like we said, 2 years he could retire. Let's be honest, it's Rodgers. But then again, will Daniel Jones?
He could retire next year. But if it's a 1 quarterback league, I mean, I could trade away Jalen Waddle for a top guy.
Yeah, Then again, Daniel Jones, will he still be a starting quarterback in the league?
Exactly. Like it's kind of unproven. Like
Yeah,
it's
no.
two players that you don't know where they're going to be next year.
Yeah, I prefer. Well, I'm a big. I know you don't like Waddle. I'm a big Waddle fan, but
Yeah, I'll trade you Waddle.
if you can give me Waddle, I'll take him.
Yeah. All right, let's go with another one. So again, this is same Dynasty, PPR, Superflex, and all that. This is actually a deal with 2 rookie running backs.
Okay.
Najee Harris. You get Najee Harris.
I'm already gone on one side already.
And then the other side gets Javonte Williams and a 2023 second round pick. That's probably going to be a late second round.
Oh man, I love both guys.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm leaning Najee because he's my guy. But I love Javonte too.
As much as I like Javonte, I'm going Najee. Najee was the number one guy he's the number one running back this year in the rookie class.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I was once that trade went through, I tried getting him. I'm like, what do you want? What do you want for Najee? I'll trade you right now.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear yours.
This one's just straight up. Again, one QB, but it's like Baker Mayfield for Odell Beckham Jr. Where do you sit on that one? I kind of sit right in the middle going, what's going on? I think it was more team need than anything else.
I don't want any of them.
I don't want this trade at all. But
Superflex or one quarterback?
No, it's again just one QB. And I don't know why you're trading Baker Mayfield. I think I'd take the upside chance on OBJ if I had to pick. But I don't want either of them.
See, if it's 2 quarterback, I'm going Baker. But since it's 1 quarterback, I'm going with Odell.
Yeah, when we asked about it, they just said it was team needs either way. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. My next one. So this happened actually, I think, just when the news broke out. This is when Cam Newton just got signed.
Okay.
This person just got Cam Newton and then he traded him. All right. So Cam Newton, one side gets Cam Newton. The other side gets a 2024 third, 2022 fourth, 2023 fourth, 2023 third. So 2 thirds in 2023, 2024, and 2 fourths in 2022 and 2023. And then $35 a fab.
And it's Dynasty?
Yeah.
I would say your team's probably not in a good position, so I'll take the fab on the picks.
Really? So you're taking all the picks and getting rid of Cam Newton?
I think if I'm a contender or I can get to the playoffs, like we talked about Cam's schedule, I want Cam because I can at least get me there. But if I'm not a contender, let's just pile up the picks, see what happens. You might be able to, use them or just trade them. So yeah,
both are contenders. Just one kind of blew his season around because he got really trade happy, and he's not I'm not going to say he's not the greatest at trades, but he's got some wild trades. So he started the season 5-1, and he's now 5-6.
Oh, okay. Yeah, someone is trade happy there if he was winning, and all of a sudden,
I was telling him, I'm like, why are you going to trade? Why are you going to trade when your team's working?
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go with your guys. Let's finish up. Maybe 2 more? We'll say.
Yeah. So this one here is it's redraft league, 1 QB. So interesting trade, I think. So one side of it is Brandon Ayuk, Jonathan Taylor, and David Montgomery. And the other side is Antonio Gibson, Cortland Sutton, and James Robinson. Which side?
They're all my guys.
All your guys. Which side do you want? It's a pretty good trade, to be fair.
That is a really good trade. I'm going redraft. David Montgomery, Brandon Ayuk, Jonathan Taylor, and then Gibson, Robinson, Sutton.
Yeah.
I'm going with Jonathan Taylor's side.
Mm-hmm.
I like Jonathan Taylor. And especially since he's RB1 now. I mean, I've been liking him since last year, and I just couldn't get my hands on any more shares, which stinks. But I'm going with him, and then I'll take Ayuk because I like his upside. And then Montgomery, just before injury, he was doing phenomenal. After injury, he's still getting back up there, but he can be a solid running back.
Yeah, I'm going to Jonathan Taylor's side too. That's a good trade, though.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go with this one. Demarcus Robinson. This is Dynasty as well. Demarcus Robinson, a 2022 fourth and 2023 second for Kenny Golladay, and 2023 and 2024 third.
Yeah.
I know. I know they're both bad.
Yeah, I don't want either of this. I suppose shoot for the stars and hope Kenny Galladay gets better.
Okay.
What does Demarcus Robinson give you really? Like it's all about the picks there. I think outside
Yeah.
of I'd lean Kenny Galladay because I think he's definitely the better player. But whether you actually see it or not, I don't know.
I like that you're getting a second for the Demarcus Robinson trade, but Robinson's he's just not a factor. So
he's just a non-factor in that offense.
I'll take my 2/3 because you know what? Last year in my 2/3 round picks, I got Gibson and Dillon, so there's obviously a chance.
Yeah.
So I'm going Kenny Galladay. All right, let's wrap up with one more for both of us.
Okay. So yeah, I actually got the last one here. So interesting to see how you go on this one. So this is Dynasty Superflex tight end premium.
Superflex tight end premium. Okay.
Yep.
Wait, Dynasty?
Dynasty, yep.
Okay.
So one side is Michael Carter and Jerry Jeudy.
Michael Carter, Jerry Jeudy.
And then the other side is Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen, and Zach Ertz.
Ooh, I'm going with Zach Ertz' side just because it's tight end premium. And even though I don't like Melvin Gordon, I like Zach Ertz. And what was the other guy?
Keenan Allen.
Yeah, Keenan Allen. Yeah, Keenan Allen's been doing phenomenal.
Yeah, that's the side I like all day.
I would take it.
That's an offer to me out there now. I thought I'd throw that in. Someone's offer.
Really?
I've got Zach Ertz. So
you're going to decline that?
I'm declining that trade, yeah.
Yeah. All right, here's one more. This is Dynasty Superflex, and this is a big one. Now, get ready for this one.
Okay.
You get Trey Lance, Derrick Henry, Tyler Lockett, and 2022 first.
Okay. What's on the other side of this?
You get Joe Burrow, Jonathan Taylor, and Jamar Chase.
Oh, jeez. You know what? I think that's fair. As in what's been given up on both sides there, because you throw in that first round pick,
and it's big difference.
Yeah. I like Jamar Chase, JT, Burrows. Tell me the first side again. I know Derrick Henry.
Trey Lance, Derrick Henry, Tyler Lockett,
and the first round pick.
Yeah. Isn't that such a big trade, but so good both sides?
Yeah, I'd easily take both sides here, but I'm going to lean on the Joe Burrow side.
Okay.
But I do like the other side. I think that's like a bit like the one I said earlier about the redraft. I think it's you put that first round pick in, and it really kind of can go either way there.
I think it's a mid or early first.
Yeah, it doesn't matter for me. I think once you put the first in there, it kind of, it
evens it out.
Yeah.
Because my thought process was, this is actually a trade that I was thinking of trading away because it's the rebuild, and I need a quarterback because I only have Matt Ryan. I got rid of Trevor Lawrence and I have 3 first. So I got rid of Matt Ryan. All right, I have Matt Ryan. I got rid of Lawrence, but I get Burrow, which I'm kind of fine with. I get Jonathan Taylor, who I need a running back, and I get a solid wide receiver, Jamar Chase.
Yeah, what more do you want? I'm happy. Look how JT is playing. Jamar has been great. Let's be honest. And you get Joe. Okay, he's kind of a bit up and down, but he definitely looks like he's a talent for the future. So, the other side is great. The only question mark I would have is Derrick Henry. Do we still see the same type of Derrick Henry?
Listen, I've been saying Derrick Henry. I've been saying Derrick Henry's been going down. He's not going to be the RB1.
Oh, everybody has, and he's proven us wrong.
Yeah.
My factor is he's never really had an injury that's been out for that long in recent, I don't think. So
no.
Does he still come back, and is he still this, crazy workhorse and stuff? I'm sure he will be.
Yeah.
So that's a really good trade.
Yeah. I'm going to actually send it. I'm going to try and send it.
Yeah,
we're going to see what happens. But anyways, that's going to do it this week for our waiver wires and NFL draft trades. Coming back next week, 3 p.m. on Tuesday. And I hope everyone has a fun and safe Thanksgiving. And my name is Fernando. I am your host of Sports Time HQ. Joining me today is my great co-host Keith. You can follow him at SwampDonkey_90. Make sure to follow him and his fiance on Instagram at HuddleUp_NFL. We'll see you guys all next week and enjoy your Thanksgiving.